Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back onto the Nürburgring Nordschleife, quite literally to probably one of the last videos of our series of the very first lap of the year that stretched over the length of the last 10, 11, 12 videos. Today we have arrived at our final destination, the main straight that this year is undergoing construction works. Well, today's video is actually shot many days later. It is by now like what, it is the 6th, and the previous videos were shot on the 2nd of January. So I asked the Nürburgring, like, hey, since we have construction works taking place, can we film some of that? Can we show some of that? Well, there's good and bad news. The bad news is the construction works are not taking place due to A, holidays, and B, as you can see, over the last couple of days we had some snow and freezing temperatures, so there's nothing happening. The good news is that I am still allowed to show you what has been done so far from a safe distance. This place we don't have much happening, so also I need to tell you, if you're coming to the track, A, if you decide to walk on the track with this kind of skeptical because it's a private premises, you should not be walking, it is trespassing, but it is kind of allowed, you can do it, it's fine, but do not go near the construction works because things can be dangerous, you can really hurt yourself. And something on top, this is while I still have your attention, do not walk your dog here. This is something that I was not asked by the Nürburgring to tell you, but as mentioned in one of the previous videos, there's lots of debris trackside, broken glass, broken headlights, taillights, and just like car parts that can hurt your dog. And something that has happened to a friend of mine a couple of days. His or her dog hurt itself, cut its paw open, and yeah, had to be brought to the vet. And this is something that you don't want to have. So leave your dogs at home or just walk alongside the track. All right, enough with educational content. Let's start with our today's walk, and we are here on the main straight. As you can see, the gantry is far behind us over there. We have here, I don't know what, because construction workers are not here, I cannot ask them, but I assume this is some of the old foundation that is laid here that can be maybe reused. But again, we will just gonna show you what is happening. Most importantly is that we are somewhere here, somewhere between the gantry, between the Devil's Diner. Most importantly is what we see here. It is Baubeginn, double N, Nürburgring Nordschleife, the beginning. So probably Nürburgring Nordschleife is the beginning of all the good things. All right, enough with the bad jokes. The construction works start here, somewhere here. I don't know exactly. So this will remain the old tarmac, which is quite okay from my experience. And from here on starts the old bumpy section. Some parts of it are more than 20 years old. And we will just start walking and show you what has been happening. So I guess let's start from here on, continue that way. All right, I could tell you more about the safety, about the orange barriers, but this is something I've been doing over the last, 10 plus videos. So in case you're tuning in just now, I highly recommend you to watch the very first video so you can see the whole lap in its glory, where I go about like the orange barriers and the marshal posts and their significance. Now, when it comes to construction works, so there we had the starting point, and we can see here, you can get a bit closer, is that actually everything is marked with 50 meters markers. So we can actually see later on how long the construction works are taking place. So the total construction works, I think this year, was over 2 kilometers long, one of the longest in Nürburgring resurfacing history. They started on it was somewhere like around the 20th or 18th of November. I don't remember the exact date anymore. And on the 12th of March, the track will be reopened again. So slightly like around 3 months time, if you also deduct all the holidays, the winter holidays, the actual 100-meter mark, great, all the breaks that they need to take due to the snow, due to the weather. So this is not a lot of time. And it's also interesting to see that the construction work start there. So I assume that this part will still be resurfaced. There is one part over there that has been already like the tarmac taken off completely and the foundation has been laid. So I guess they are doing it in sections, but still 2.5 kilometers in 3 months time. It is quite 150 mark. It is quite quite impressive. I know a lot of people now from UK are going to comment like, hey, can you please bring these workers to UK so they can fix our roads, especially in this speed. It's just something that I always see when I film construction works on the Nürburgring. It's always the same comment, so it is quite funny. Okay, so 200 mark over here, and then a fast forward closer to there. We have arrived at the 300 meter mark over here. Also the 50 kilometer sign, speed limit. So you need to slow down for exit towards the car park that was there to get some pancakes. So this means 300 something ish meters still has to be resurfaced. And here we see that the tarmac has been scraped off. I'm gonna be very cautious and careful because I know that this is all tarmac here, so I'll be safe. Yeah, we can see that. I guess this is like the first layer of the foundation, the sand, before like the harder layer is going to come. I'm not a construction specialist, but I'm sure a couple of you guys have already commented in the past on the past videos of mine. You can explain to me how far they are here in comparison to, well, the total construction works. Yeah, let's proceed. Let's see how much they have done here. So this is 300 meter mark, and over there is the 400 meter mark, and the construction work finishes slightly after, but then again they also start slightly after the 300 meter mark. So I guess this is 100 meters of progress, let's call it that way. And let's continue on. Interesting to see that this triangle has been left alone. Yeah, I guess the entrance, I don't know, it wouldn't need resurfacing, so I guess it is fine, but we can just see that I assume that this part will remain same old, including the actual entrance towards Devil's Diner and TF car park will remain same old. And that's pretty much it up until even beyond the Antoniusbuche, Antonius Bridge, or the Bilstein Bridge. So this all is still old tarmac that, again, I'm going to assume that still needs to be scraped off. I don't know why it is done in sections. Maybe because for easier access, because the teams can get onto the track here from this side towards the GP track, because it's also like from the Nordschleife and the part of the GP track is being redone. And once they finish that section, they will have the access from the GP track towards here, and from the other side of the track towards here, and they will do this section. This is just my assumption. Hopefully in a few weeks time we'll be able to actually talk to someone from the construction works to give us proper update and confirmation. Now we're gonna do a quick jump forward towards the bridge. Of course I have to say how much I miss pancakes. But since the previous videos I was giving some sort of instruction, some sort of information when it comes to driving this track. Now here on the main straight you won't be driving unless you're doing any race or any track day, because during TF, of course, this section is closed. You have here an extra barrier where you can go through, where you need to scan the ticket and go again for a lap, or alternatively you come off there and go there for a lap. So, but what I was told once is that when you are driving a race, for better aerodynamics, to avoid like oncoming air, you should try to stick close to the track edge as possible, because you have here the barrier, you have here also in the summer months you have the trees holding back the wind. If it actually works or not, I haven't had like many scientific experiments or comparisons, but I do stick here most of the times, and quite often also the faster cars can then also overtake on the right side if I'm driving a slower car. But usually, hey, I'm usually midfield, haven't driven any GT3 or even GT4 cars yet, so this is what I'm doing. And if you would be exiting from the TF car park, I always say aim for the middle of the bridge, and shortly before that start proceeding to the left side of the bridge. And also same goes when you're gunning it on the main straight, go a bit to the right, so you would have a nice entrance towards the left side of the bridge, the left curbstone, to proceed towards the right side of the Tiergarten compression. And this is still a flat out section, don't lift, because then you might have a very bad time like I had when the driver that I was sitting next to earlier on the 8th of August, I remember that day very well, lifted and the car spun at around 180 kilometers per hour. Was very unpleasant. Anyway, let's proceed there, because we're already at the 700 meters mark, by the way. Again, here some of the foundation, I guess it's old to be reused. Again, just an assumption, I don't know. So let's go towards the bridge. And we are now at Antoniusbuche, the Antonius beach. Beach as in tree, not like the sea and beach or the other type of beach. In any case, why the tree? We'll explain to you in a bit. We have arrived also at the very first construction machine. Shout out to this big bad blue boy, a bit rusty boy as well, that is standing at the 1 kilometer mark of the construction works. Now, to give you a bit of history, Antoniusbuche, Antonius Beach, the tree was standing over there where now the B258, the Landstrasse, the public road is, that is running towards Moispad, the industry park and the ED gas station, or towards Nürburgring. Somewhere after the 30s, they had to place it to allow better infrastructure to the connection to the Nürburgring. But before that, there was a nice tree, nice beach with the altar of the Saint Antonius. And the altar has also been taken away, but the actual monument, the cross, and that's actually something that someone pointed out in one of the recent videos when I asked people like, what's up, why is there a cross? And that is actually for the St. Antonius. The altar has been taken away together with unfortunate tree, but the name still remains. Okay, so the bridge, the 1 kilometer and 100 meters mark, we have here some more foundation. And later on, in the bottom of the compression, you will see that the works have been, well, there's a lot more progress over there down there. When it comes to driving dynamics, as mentioned previously, after coming towards the bridge on the middle, or better even on the right side of it, you should start aiming towards the left curbstone, and then you have a nice straight line towards the bottom of it, and you can aim towards the orange barrier or the Yokohama sign that says Tiergarten. But before we're going to get to the sign, here's another sign. 1 kilometer and 250 meters mark is where the second part of, or the first part, I don't know how we should look at it, of the construction work start. So 1 to 50 with additional 150 mark. This means that 1 kilometer and 150 meters still have to be resurfaced. Again, this is something that I think we will have a confirmation later on. And before I'm gonna get there, I'm actually gonna climb over the barrier here, because I have no idea how safe it is to walk there, because I know also some digitalization project is going on, so yeah, it might be not so stable soil to walk on. I'm just gonna go and do as I was asked. It's definitely a lot less pleasant surface to walk here, but luckily we have some weatherproof shoes. All right, let's continue. Let's get here. There's a gate that you can use to get out safely, but it has never been used in forever, as we can see by the vegetation here. Now, another interesting point while I'm walking here, you can see this whole surface is quite swampy. This was one of the main challenges when the Nürburgring was being constructed. A lot of it is, yeah, A, mountains, B, also swamp. And the big concern was from the local people is like, how are we going to build this all here in the construction works? Do you know how much like concrete and tarmac and foundation and everything we need? You know how much it's going to cost? Well, the solution was quite simple, because we're here in Vulkaneifel, the volcanic region. All of the foundation material could be just used here from nearby, from the local hills, local mountains, all the volcanic basalt. And this is, yeah, this has proven to be quite cost effective and actually quite efficient, which was quite good. Now we have here, of course, you could see also there a tunnel towards the other side of the track. Are we going to have a pedestrian crossing here or something? No, it's probably for the digitalization project, I'm going to assume. But we are here now in Tiergarten compression. Tiergarten means the animal garden, actually the animal cemetery, because somewhere nearby, animals that fallen in battles in the past, either between Swedish and German war, or maybe Roman war, who knows, were actually buried here. Yeah, very interesting. Very peculiar to name the corner after this, or just have an animal cemetery in the first place. But most importantly, Tiergarten is known for having the first compression point, if you're coming from TF entrance, of course, because otherwise the start of the track is usually there. Heavy compression, and the question is of course going to be, is the compression going to be smoother? If I'm looking at it from here now, I'm just going to say actually yes. Is it going to change a lot? Not a lot. I do know, and it is kind of like, well, some people might be unhappy with me telling you this. I know that sometimes during industry pool, and also during races of course, but especially industry pool, when cars are being tested to their limit, sometimes it happens that the car is actually getting a blowout tire here because the compression is quite hard, and then it ends up spinning, ending up something there on top. So things like that happen. So it is definitely going to contribute to a speed factor and safety factor, but it's not like that you're going to be like, ah yeah, okay, we have no compression here anymore, and I need to set up my suspension to be more stiffer than, or like with less suspension travel than in the past, because you still having the foxhole compression, and of course also a couple of jumps where, and bumps and other compression zones where it is going to matter. So this is not something that is going to contribute a lot to lap times or anything. But another part, which is more interestingly, is over here, the climb towards Hohenrhein chicane. There was actually a bump that I also told you about when we made the very first construction works video. That jump, with a slower car, with a non-GT3 car, you should definitely slow down for it, and also with a street car especially. If that jump is not there, it will definitely give you maybe a tenth of a second or something, maybe a third of a second, depending on the type of car you're driving. It will definitely give you a sort of advantage. Now finally, a bit of history lesson. We have here, as you can see, we had a long straight, and now we have here a chicane, a Hohenrhein chicane. This was laid in 1967, after which the people, after 40 years of Nürburgring being open from 1927, they realized, you know what, the 3+ kilometer back then straight, because it was going all the way straight, is a bit too crazy. Cars are getting too fast by now in the mid-60s, the Formula 1 cars. We should put a chicane here to slow them down before coming onto the, back then, the Nordkehre or Südschleife or Betonschleife, or the by now GP track. We need to slow them down. So this part was put here in the 1967. Now the funny thing is that there was actually another reconstruction works or change that was done to it later in 97, 30 years later actually. This barrier was actually going towards the track. So you would be coming down towards the chicane, and if you don't brake hard enough, you would smack into the barrier. And then by 97, they thought like, you know what? Maybe let's move this barrier closer here. So if people will not be able to make it past the compression, they would at least go on the grass and slide against the barrier and not like crash into it. But let's proceed a bit further down, where I show you the actual old tarmac that is there from the old main straight from before the 1967. But first, nice look towards the compression, towards Tiergarten from the other side, uphill. But I also want to show you these curbstones that are dug out and are waiting to be reinstalled again. A bit closer look at the curbstones from here. We're having another speed limit sign, and I guess this is still from the old days when the TF entrance was at T13 over there, which is now being used by prototypes or RCN races. Before 1998 it was there, and after that the one that you know from today, the Devil's Diner entrance, was opened. So let's proceed here, and actually we can see here that a bit of more works has been done, because while this part is all flat-ish, here it goes a bit deeper. There's still some life, some activity happening. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna say E46. So construction works kind of stop here, so we're gonna get back on again. there's no entrance sign, because actually you have another track entrance from here. So in case you're being confused in the first place how you're going to get on from there other than through RCN races, yeah, don't go there. And yeah, we're proceeding that way. Which marker is it? There is no nice machine, by the way. There's no distance marker here because I wanted to know how long these construction works are. But I told you that I was gonna show you the old tarmac from the track from before 1967, and you can see it here actually. I'd say that if we're gonna stand there, we can have a better indication. So over there is the straight towards the GP track, or the turn to the right to T13 and Sabine-Schmitz corner. Here we have this old tarmac from before 1967 that would go straight and connect the straights from Tiergarten and the other section, nowadays the GP track. As you can see, the part here hasn't been resurfaced yet. Here's the entrance with speed limit to T13. T13 is the name of the section, also, which is abbreviation for Tribune, or the grandstand number 13. Over there, I see that my battery is about to die, so I'll have to switch to my phone. Now, important reference point is when you come in here and you need to go on the Nordschleife to the right and not straight, is that you have these blue signs, the traffic signs. The sign is a good reference point to start steering. So steer at the sign, the blue sign, and start aiming close to the right barrier. And we can see actually that the works have been done here already. They start here again at the GP track for and the whole T13 section. So that is something that I haven't seen before. So look at that. And how funny that it is all covered in snow. Gonna quickly take a quick picture for the gram. And now let's hope that the battery won't die, and we'll proceed to the final section of the track. Oh, that's a convenient access point to T13 into the paddock. Nice! It looks like that the top layer has been resurfaced. The most important question is going to be, is it going to be a more runoff area for exiting faster this corner when you're going for lap records? Because it's also quite important that you have sort of a straightaway. So if you have a faster exit speed out of the corner, yeah, it could contribute to a couple of microseconds. But everything counts at the end of the day. Everything counts. We can see halfway through T13 that the first layer of tarmac has indeed been scraped off. And important to mention, to remind you of, is that the connection from the GP track to Nordschleife will be also resurfaced, including the last corner and also the pit entrance. So the most of the construction works are actually taking place here right now. So let's proceed to the end, to the Sabine-Schmitz-Kurve. And that is pretty much where it all ends, at the orange barrier. Slightly after that, this part is also the marker for the end of the lap record for the sport auto configuration. Yeah, I hope that the transition is going to be smooth from the old, or from the new tarmac to the old tarmac, that you will not have any nasty bump, because already you do have sort of like a small tiny bump that can unsettle your ABS, unsettle your car, but this is something we will see soon enough. Now, before we end our walk at Sabine-Schmitz-Kurve, you have here yellow light that can indicate danger or incident, but it's also a nice turning point from here towards the left curb, towards the right curb, and then you can start your descent into Hatzenbach, and also which was the starting point of our very first video of this year and of this series, when we entered the track on the 1st of January through that gate over there, here at Sabine-Schmitz-Kurve. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. Most importantly, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I did receive lots of positive feedback from many of you. Unfortunately, the GoPro didn't make it to the end of this video. I did receive lots of positive feedback from many of you guys, saying that you were actually looking forward to the next day's video, because it was actually, the start was at the finish of yesterday's video. So I'm very pleased to hear that, and again, hope you guys, many of you actually enjoyed, not only the ones who have expressed their admiration and appreciation. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you, first of all, of course, tomorrow on my channel again. I will be leaving to Croatia tomorrow, so maybe there's going to be some sort of rematch content, most likely big Chavapi content. And after that, I'll be soon enough back here at the Nürburgring. I'm only going for the weekend. And we'll have more track content. Maybe we're going to have some live construction updates. More importantly, definitely, is we're going to have flood update content. Something that I've promised, because on 14th of January marks the 6 month, not anniversary, but commemoration period. So it's going to be interesting, in quotation marks, to see how the construction works are going, how everything is going, how the situation is like. So for that, truly subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I think it's going to be very interesting not to miss. Okay, let's not finish on a sad note, finish on a good note. Let me know how your 2022 is going so far. Are you keeping up with your expectations, with your New Year's resolutions? A lot of people also commented on the 1st of January video of mine, when I did some sort of motivational action, that many of you appreciated it, and they kickstarted their New Year's resolutions. Let me know how everything is going, and looking forward to seeing you again in tomorrow's video, or here at the track in real life, starting on from 12th of March this year. See you, bye bye.